Welcome to Behind the Sign, the mess and the rumors that happen behind the for sale sign.
Hot takes in real estate you want to know.
We're experts in the Chicago market.
And you guys, it's going to be absolutely unhinged.
Do I make the unlock your jaw joke every time?
No, I don't think so. Well,
Okay, scene.
Joe, it was nice for you to join us today.
I'm sorry I was late.
Yeah.
The queen was late here. Oh my God.
He said we could start without him, but I mean, what were we supposed to do?
What are we supposed to do?
Everything. Anything.
I don't think that's
We're
possible.
Dancing, twerking, stripping. There's the options are endless. You could have done whatever you want.
Bro, I have no ass to twerk.
It's like raining in the traffic.
Seriously.
The traffic is bad in this city, Chicago. If you're missed the intro, the traffic falls apart. It like anytime there's one drop of rain.
I
Yeah.
also can't predict. I get this unpredictable. Right?
Well, right
So
now it is
unpredictable.
predictable. It just sucks every day. Like it's been terrible every single day for the past.
Yeah, I can predict it
30
for the
days.
next 3 months.
No
It's
matter
gonna
what I
suck dick.
think it'll take 7 minutes longer.
Sometimes you get lucky though.
I'm just so sick of like Apple Maps or Google Maps or whatever your preference is.
Apple Maps?
Wait, Google Maps.
Bro.
Absolutely,
I'm-
Google Maps.
I'm Waze. And Google
Wait.
Maps.
Waze.
Wait,
Did the
I also
Jonas
have Waze.
did the Jonas Brothers like narrate? They did a deal with Waze.
I have no idea.
Oh.
I have no
That
idea
would be
what you're
really
talking
funny
about.
if Nick was listening to the Jonas Brothers dictate his directions. And he had no idea.
Are
I have no idea.
The Jonas Brothers. I'm sorry. Run that back. The Jonas Brothers. What?
The Jonas Brothers did a deal with Waze like a couple of years ago where they
They
What is that?
narrated.
And what does this say about their career?
That's what I'm saying. I no, for sure. I mean, they also just did like a meetup in a mall for like all.
A mall.
Yeah, I think it was Mall of America.
They're
though,
like,
so,
and then let's go to Ross.
yeah. Okay. Listen, there's 3 of them. There's not a lot of money to go around. That's why we're cutting Nick out after we make $1 million.
Yeah, bye Nick.
Good to know what the plan is, though.
You said you'd be happy with $1 million, and then you don't care what happens after.
Yeah, but I want more. I want to like.
Oh,
kind
now
of a,
you
kind
want
of a
more.
$1 million every
Oh.
year, though. Like
we're
I-
renegotiating
Every year.
No, the fuck am I gonna do with $1 million? That's like peanut money at this point.
Invest
I know.
it. Not my problem. This is what we agreed to.
Wow.
If
Wow. I'm not over. Wow.
when straight men get really loud like that, I get really nervous. I start sweating.
Yeah, we're gonna have to start taking those layers off.
No.
Okay.
I like the jacket, though.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Thank you. This is my Matrix look.
Very, very
Love it.
Matrix.
Do you guys know what the Matrix is?
Yes.
Yes.
The
Very
Matrix?
young. Yeah.
Who doesn't know what the Matrix is?
Well, I don't know. They're like 17 years old.
That's like very. I was exactly going to say that's. I was going to say that's very Neo of you.
yes.
Yes.
That's it.
Red pill, blue pill, red pill, blue pill.
I'm taking the blue
Do you
pill
know what that
every
means?
fucking day.
Okay, I will say I was a little young when I watched it.
Like you shouldn't have been watching
I
the
need to
Matrix.
read-
Yeah,
Watch
so like
it.
I don't really know what
Oh my
like the
God.
like what happens, but like I know the vibes.
How many Matrix movies are there?
3?
4. They made
Four.
a new one. They
Oh.
they botched
probably-
they
yeah.
botched the 4th one so bad.
They should
kinda
stop
did a,
remaking old movies.
Well,
They
it
should
wasn't a
stop.
remake, it was
well,
like afterwards.
they should stop touching the franchises from late
Yes.
90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
Just leave it alone.
Unless they're gonna cast us. Then
Yeah, absolutely.
remake all
Then
the
we'll
movies
do
you
it.
want.
And it will be the best.
Yeah.
It will be the only exception
If we have to.
if we have to.
Okay, should we talk about real estate?
Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Katie,
as
give
well.
us a Reddit scenario. This
Hit
is a
us.
Reddit scenario
Oh,
again?
yeah, we have a few
scenario.
Reddit scenarios. I tried to make them more unhinged for Nick. So I guess
Just what we need.
should we start with the most unhinged one in my opinion?
Let's do it.
Okay.
I think we should.
So the title of this submission is actually pretty funny. It's
It better
Wait.
be pretty funny now that you set it up.
yeah, I
The expectations are high.
mediate, sue, or roll over.
I don't know any of the words you just said. What is
Okay.
it?
Let me just get to the scenario.
Mediate,
sue, or roll over.
Sue, money baby. I already know the answer to the question.
You
Okay.
already-
Unless we are getting sued, then do not. Then
Oh,
roll
yeah.
over.
Yeah.
I actually am getting sued right now.
What?
Yeah, for a car accident I was in like 4 years ago. It's so stupid. Yeah, it's so
No
dumb. It's so dumb.
way.
See, it's a good thing I was late. I was taking my time because I get in accidents and then I get sued.
Yeah,
That's it.
we can't have that.
Anyway,
Anyway, I got an inspection, and during it, they found many yellow flag issues, 62 to be exact, and some issues that the seller purposefully tried to hide. The seller is a home inspector himself.
Ugh.
Keep that in mind. For example, there was a rock wall for kids that was blocking off the sump pump and sewage drain, so we couldn't inspect it at the time of our inspection. As soon as we moved in, a neighbor let us know that the giant rod on the porch was a homemade plunger for the sewer drain. Since then, shit has backed up in the basement, and the sump pump leaks when used because it has the wrong pipe fitting. Am I just fucked? What should I do?
Oh, you should do a sewer scope.
You should
Well, he
have.
already bought the
You
house.
should
Yeah,
have done.
but you should have done the sewer
You
scope.
should have.
This
So what
is
you
why
should do now is build a time machine, go
back
back
and do the sewer scope,
and
and,
get a
then
different
you
agent.
never
And
would have
Because,
got it.
yes,
and
you're
unfuck
fucked.
Yeah.
unfuck yourself basically. Like that's what you gotta do. The time machine is the best.
I don't-
That's the best option here.
Yeah, because basically, if you don't, like, you really don't have much legal recourse if you signed off on everything in the inspection and then close on the house. Like, there's not really a ton
And
you
I'm
can
like,
do.
who's your attorney? Who's your agent? Like all this stuff should have been. They should have. Those aren't yellow flags. Those
Even
are-
your inspector should
Well-
have told you. Be like, hey, listen. I mean, I can see what's going on. Maybe it's a good.
yeah.
Maybe it's actually.
But they
good for
probably
you.
did say that because inspectors are the ones that protect themselves from being sued all the time, at least
For
in my
sure.
experience. It should have been an agent who'd been like, okay, we're knocking down the kid's wall.
Well, actually, that's a good point. Like, depending on how it's written up in the inspection, not to get too hypothetical, you could go after the inspector
So
if they didn't inspect the thing.
Nah.
Like, no? Oh,
No,
okay.
because the inspectors are very vague with their inspection
They
reports.
are.
They're like, we recommend further evaluation.
Yeah.
Yeah, then
That's
if you
it.
didn't get further evaluation,
That's
then that's
it.
on you. But okay, also if you go to an inspection of a single family home and you're not able to see the sewer or the sump pump, like Anastasia said, for sure do a sewer scope. And also, like 62 issues. That's a lot.
So let's.
I was going to say that's very little, actually.
Really?
I feel like there's 62 marginal
62?
points in my home. Yeah, but like a outlet, a drain
Oh,
pane,
Okay.
light bulb not covered in the closet. Those are all like yellow things.
So let's
Yeah.
let's run this back and talk about like we as agents when we go do a showing. What are some of the things that we can see before we even get to the point of an inspection? Because we're talking about yellow flags, we're talking about red flags. I feel like there's some things that we can see during a showing, and then there's some things we can't because we need the inspector to get really into the nitty gritty of it all because they are the professionals. So what do you think, like if you took this client out to see this place, what do you think when we do a showing we can look for during an inspection?
I mean, I can tell within 0.2 seconds of being in the house if any of the work that has been done by the owner and like hodgepodge, or if it's been done professionally.
Can you give an example?
Like, you can just tell. Even like painting, like you can tell. Like, and honestly, for me, it's a big red flag when the painting is not done well, because then, call back to last week, that person's cheap and they probably have like jerry rigged a bunch of other stuff in their house. So it's kind of like, for me, looking at the surface level things and being able to psychologically evaluate what type of owner lives in that house and what type of work has been done.
And I think too, like it got brought up, like they couldn't find the sump pump. And I'm like, if I go do a showing, what are the first things I look for in like a garden unit, condo, or a single family home is like, where's the sump pump? Is there a backup battery? Things like that. If that agent couldn't find a sump pump right off the bat, that's a huge red flag.
Another
Right.
thing I want
And
to
it was in the
say,
inspection.
to go back to the sewer scope too, a sump pump is usually in the basement. There's different parts where you can access the sewer. There should have been a manhole outside the house, or sometimes you can take out the toilet and go that way. Your agent should have insisted that it's a big deal. And just because there is no way for you to get to the access that they blocked off, there are different parts. But a sewer scope, especially if the home is older, is the most important part you have to inspect, because you can see it. If it's cracked, if it's clogged, this will happen. Your inspector and your agent and your attorney all should have insisted that this is a very important thing, or you are not proceeding unless you see what's underneath the house.
How often do you guys recommend a sewer scope? as
Every
part of the
single
inspection?
time.
Well,
Every
anytime
On a single
it's
family
a
home,
detached, yeah.
Single family home and also multi units as well.
Yeah.
Every single time, I would like spend the $300 so you can sleep well, because it will save you $20,000 of excavation of the unit, basically, especially if it's a multifamily home.
Yeah.
And depends how it runs. Usually on the multifamilies, they reroute the sewer scope outside, because if there is a garden unit, if something happens, you literally have to dig out the whole garden unit there. So
Mhm.
it's rerouted. But for every time, everything that is detached, every single time, for me, that's a non-negotiable.
I've even
And-
heard of a brand new construction home that was inspected, had a sewer scope, and they like messed up the sewer line.
No
It hasn't
way.
happened to me, but I just
Uh-huh.
heard from my inspector that they did it and it was messed up.
And for the viewers, the reason that we recommend it on a detached home or a multi-unit and not a condo is because in a condo you share the cost because it's a shared common element. And when you own the whole property, then that cost is all on you. So yeah, if it costs $20,000 to redo the sewer line, then that's all on you. Whereas if you're in a condo, you split that with your neighbors.
So let's get a little bit more clear with that. So let's say that you move into 1 unit in a 4-unit building.
Mhm.
If they're on the garden unit, I will always have them do a sewer scope. If you have
Mhm.
someone, let's say, moving in on the top floor of a multi-unit, just that unit, do you have a sewer scope?
No.
No.
Okay.
It's
Because
just
the whole HOA is, yeah. So in the garden unit, I'm usually like, if something is wrong, it's affecting your unit 1st.
Mhm.
We have to do it.
it's just like you have to be extra thorough with the roof on the
Right.
top floor unit
Correct.
because nobody will care besides you.
Right.
So when it comes to you moving into a condo, basically, if you're on a second, third, fourth floor, you got to be very vigilant checking on the condo paperwork to
Mhm.
see if the meeting minutes, reading through the meeting minutes, if they had any kind of issues with the bottom floor, like first floor or garden, because at some point, if it's a 3-unit building, a little bit older, and there's not that many reserves. I mean, sure, you're not going to spend $20,000, but you're probably going to cough up $6,000 or $7,000 if something happens to the garden unit and all of you split it.
And
Mhm.
just to clarify, in this case, if there's a 4-unit building, if you're on the bottom floor, you still contribute the HOA. Your responsibility is for the roof. You hold
Yeah.
part
Yeah.
responsibility, and vice versa. Just because you're on the top floor doesn't mean that you don't contribute to things that are going on in the sewer and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Long story short, for this person, you are fucked and you should have gotten a sewer scope. So just next time you buy a house, do the sewer scope.
Well, I also want to point out maybe he can sue the sellers if they did see the disclosures or if they did. The very least, even if you're not going after and like tearing things down and going through a sewer scope, they should have asked the seller to represent in writing that the sump pump works.
And that they haven't had any issues with the sewer, which
Absolutely.
obviously, if they have a homemade plunger for the sewer line, they have experienced
Yeah,
issues.
so if they
that should have
lie,
been
then
disclosed.
I would
So
say
you
the answer
could.
is you sue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the reason I would never recommend for somebody to sue in this situation, specifically the seller, is because first of all, you already bought the house, and second of all, you do have to spend, let's say hypothetically, $10,000, $15,000 to kind of do the pipes and all that stuff. That's money out of your pocket. Now you're gonna spend an extra $10,000 on an attorney,
Right.
for a huge maybe if
Maybe.
you can get some kind of money from the seller, a big maybe. So if they hypothetically give you some kind of money, it's years of your life probably into lawsuits, thousands of dollars for attorneys to outcome that you might get some kind of money to cover your attorney fees.
Yeah, you have to.
There's no point.
Right.
There's
You
no point.
have to weigh like if the money that you potentially are going to get, and are you 50% going to get that, 60%, whatever, you're comfortable with
Yeah.
in spending that money.
And major point too, like it can sometimes be a good thing or worth it to walk away from the transaction, even though you
They already
paid.
closed.
No, I know, but I'm just saying if
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm just saying like moving other people.
Yeah.
It is sometimes worth it to walk away,
Oh, for
even though you paid for
Totally.
the inspection, even though you love what it looks like or what it feels like, or it's the perfect home. You have your agent, you have your inspector, and you have your attorney that can all say this is not worth it. Turn around now.
Unless
There's nothing wrong with
unless
that.
the sellers give you credit. If they actually drop the price by $10,000-$15,000, so you can actually spend that money
Yeah.
to fix.
But if there's like issues where the seller's being shady, like this guy, they're saying he clearly was trying to hide stuff and he is not disclosing, then yeah, that's red flags.
And also, like, who's the agent representing that listing? Like,
Well.
then your fucking reputation's now in the shitter.
Ethics.
Yeah, we do as agents have a code of ethics that we should all be following. Like,
Disclosing the proper things.
nobody
because
does
that is a legality.
No, nobody. None of the listing agents do that.
You should and
It,
like
it's
for
a-
everyone listening, like one of the first questions that either you or your agent should ask on the very first showing is, are there any water issues?
Mhm.
Or because those are all things that need to be sewage issues, things that need to be disclosed.
we walked
Yeah.
away from a deal 2 months ago with a client of mine just because of that who was the listing. I mean, I'm not gonna say the listing agent on the other side. He's a piece of shit. But yeah,
Can they dress or not dress? Let's narrow it down.
uh,
It's a
n-
man.
yeah, he's just a piece of shit. But anyway, so what happened was, very first question, we're buying a three flat in Humble Park, and I was like, hey, any water issues, any flooding, anything like that? No, everything's good. Nothing on disclosures. We go in there, inspection. The inspector finds that there's a lot of water damage on the interior of the wall. Somehow, I don't know. He's like, hey, listen, this is not good. Like,
Mhm.
clearly the moisture meter shows that there is like accumulation of water there. And then we come to find out that the reason they didn't want us to see the garden unit twice prior to the inspection is because when the tenant showed up and be like, yeah, man, this flooded 3 times in 2 years. And
And
at
if-
this point, we're like, I recommend him right away and be like, listen, they lied to us. Who knows what else they lied for?
Yep.
Mhm.
Right? Might as well you spend $1,000 for inspection. Let's walk away. You lose $1,000, but then you don't have to deal with a bunch of other issues. So
That's why you do an inspection. You spend the money up front to save you way more money down the line.
And that's why you hire a good attorney so that they can ask seller to represent a bunch of stuff. in
Also,
writing
what
too.
we're not sure, they might not be in an attorney
Yeah.
state
But you can use an attorney even in non-attorney state.
for sure. But if it's not the norm,
Yeah.
like, okay, think about literally every single Reddit submission. Everyone's trying to figure out how to save a buck. You think
Mhm.
people that they're not required to use an attorney are going to use an
Good
attorney.
point.
Everyone thinks they're smarter than everyone.
I
and
would
that's how
consider a fact that
you
you're
end
not.
up in this situation.
Yeah.
Shall we move on?
Please.
I think we
Okay.
shall.
All right. This one's going to get everybody fired up. Okay. We sold our home and bought
Fired
a
up or
home.
fired?
I don't know. It depends on your
Who
response.
fires us? If we do, we have
We don't have HR.
Our
Do
clients.
we don't have HR. Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, I've been fired actually recently. Okay, that's right. You're right.
We sold our home and bought a home with the same realtor. She made around $30,000 off of both transactions. We were pretty easy, or so we thought. Our house went under contract after one afternoon of showings and one open house. We only put in 2 offers, and the second one is the house we ended up buying. On closing day, our agent did nothing for us. Not a card, bottle of champagne, not even a verbal thank you. Did we do something wrong? We weren't expecting anything extravagant, but after a $30,000 paycheck, we were hoping for at least a little thank you.
I think Nick should speak first.
Closing gifts.
I don't do closing gifts.
Okay, I have opinions because
Wait, do
I-
you do closing gifts? Let's go. Do you do closing gifts?
it depends.
Ugh.
But-
I
Do you do
do
closing
most
gifts?
of the time, but not always.
Depend on the price.
Okay.
But I'm providing a professional service.
I'm gifting up.
We get paid a lot of money for what we do, and you don't have to use us, but why do you expect us to give you a gift after providing you a service? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I think that the gifts are really good for maintaining relationships, and I host parties for my clients and whatever to connect with them and keep in touch with them. But like, that's because like I want to continue the relationship, but I just don't like when people are expecting me to give them something for working. Like, this is my job.
Well, and I also think it's important. Like, they made $30,000 off of these 2 transactions with these one set of clients, which seems like a lot of money. But you don't know if that particular agent, maybe that was the first deal they had closed in, 3 months.
It's also like
We
our
don't-
livelihood. We have bills.
Yeah, like not every transaction is like that.
Yeah, I
You know
also
what I mean?
think
I just
that-
got a $140,000 contract. That's my new low
Woo!
by $500.
Ooh,
Really?
let's go.
I
Yes.
just closed 70 yesterday.
A parking space?
70.
7-0, baby.
So I'm like, do I get that personal closing gift? Probably not,
Yeah.
because I'm making like, I don't even know. What do you make off $140,000?
Like $15,000 or $1,500.
Yeah.
I don't
And
know.
it's in the suburbs. So driving back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Like, I've spent a lot of money on
And,
the
and the time.
process
And the time as well.
and the time. So yeah, I think if you're providing a professional grade service, then that should be enough. However, if I like the client, don't
Totally.
get them a closing gift.
I will say
Same.
one thing though, even like reading at this, sometimes it just makes sense because if their agent would give them a gift, maybe they would be talking and being more excited and talking to their friends and you would get a referral out of it versus this person right now is sitting like, did I do something wrong? They'll feel awkward to reach out to them again because they'll be like, oh my God, did I upset them?
Yeah.
Did I do it? They
True.
will never use her again or unless like somehow it gets ratified. But as of right now, I think the likelihood of them getting anything would drop down. I think we are a little bit of therapists. So I think you do get a sense of who needs it more than others.
Totally.
There are people that when you give them, they're like, okay, I'm going to put this bottle of champagne in my fridge and forget about it. But there are people where for them, it actually becomes a really nice gesture because, as you said, it is a relationship business and you have to keep them.
But that's what I'm saying. Like gifts over time or like events or, thoughtful follow-ups and stuff, I feel goes a longer way than a closing gift. And also someone who, like this person, if the agent realistically got them a bottle of champagne, let's say it was $50, this person would still be writing into Reddit being like, our agent made 30 grand off of us and she got us a $50 bottle of champagne. Like there's just people that are annoying and this annoys me.
What annoys me about this specific situation is like why are you counting your agent's money? Like why do you care that much about how much this person made? Like
they're hiring them.
Granted, you hired them and you signed a contract. You knew how much money they're going to make at the end of the day. So it is what it is. Like I personally agree with Anastasia of this specific situation is you kind of have to feel the situation. Be like, okay, these people are actually easy. They're easy to work with. They're nice people. Let me get them something. Let me spend $500. Again, maybe it's a lot. Maybe it's not for some people, but let me take him, maybe give him a gift card to a really nice restaurant or something, or make a reservation for them and pay for that meal for them, or whatever. Like Lena actually had a really good idea of.
Yeah, no, I think that I don't think that closing gifts or like doing things for your clients is bad. Like I do a lot of things for my clients. But, and like Joe said, if I like the client, I'm more inclined to want to work with their friends. Like if they're annoying AF, then
depending on how, like, what is the relationship to the client? If they're friends of mine, I do business with a lot of friends. I actually take them to dinner.
Yeah,
that's a good way.
I just think it's so weird that people expect. Like, is anyone being like, "Oh, I paid my attorney $1,000 and they didn't give me a gift when they like won my case or whatever?" Like, come on.
I agree. It should never be, and it doesn't really change a whole lot too, because the gifts that we do give. I mean, it depends on the price point, but would a plant or a bottle of champagne change a whole lot? I don't know, but I think if it's a referral or if you know that the people we're interviewing, I do like a token appreciation for choosing my services over somebody else.
Yeah, it's case by case.
For example,
wait, Joe wants to say something.
I just want to say I'm really selfish, and I like giving a gift for me. I feel like it makes me look better.
Yeah.
Like if I show up, like I just had a closing and I gave them a couple glasses from Tiffany's. So showing up to the final walkthrough in the closing with like a blue Tiffany box, I felt like I looked great in blue, but I thought it looked good on me. You know what I mean? And it made me feel good. And like,
for sure.
Yeah.
It was a rough transaction too. Like I worked my ass off. And that's what I think people don't understand is that some transactions you say you're really easy, but there's some transactions that we are working so hard to keep together. Mm-hmm. We're stressed out all the time. It wakes us up in the middle of the night trying to keep these deals together. So like when we get to the finish line, like sometimes a closing gift is the last thing on our mind because we kept this and worked so hard to keep this together for you, to put you in the home that you love. Like sometimes that does just have to be a mouth.
Yeah, and I mean I think gifts have a time and place. And
buy me a gift.
I just don't. Right, that's what I'm saying. Like
it's been happening to me lately.
You get so many gifts.
The past like 5 or 6 clients like literally show up on a final walkthrough because I don't go to closings. Basically, they show up on a final walkthrough and they give me like a little bag of something.
What's in the bag?
I mean, sometimes a bottle of wine, bottle of champagne, like some
How expensive?
What was that candy called? Ferrero Rocher. What is it called?
Ferrero Rocher. I love those.
Those are like, the last client that the deal fell apart on the closing table. Actually, they didn't close. We're under contract now, but I went on the closing for them, and they gave me a bottle of whiskey and a cigar.
That's so nice.
So. At the end of the day, but
I don't get gifts.
Again, it depends. It depends. Some clients are very appreciative how hard you work. Basically, I saw this house just came on the market. I know it's a Tuesday at 6:00 at night. Can we see it at 7? Yes, we can. So some people,
if you bring a gift,
some people, some people do appreciate it. Other clients think that they sort of own you, like your time is their time. Which at this point, I don't give a shit if you're ever going to use me again for another transaction.
Right.
I'm not giving you a gift. I just want this done. This is a pure transaction business. I helped you to the best of my ability. I try to protect you to the best of my ability. That's it.
Well, that's what's annoying about the gift situation is that people like think that they're doing you a favor by using you during their transaction, but it's like, I am providing you a service. If you don't feel that I'm providing you a service, then go do this with another agent or do it on your own, and don't like get mad at me for not giving you a gift after I just like did my job.
And these people are like, oh, we were easy clients, or so we thought. Sometimes you don't have the self-awareness. You could have been assholes. You have no idea.
Or maybe she was.
And also, if it's an easy, smooth transaction, that's because of what we and our attorneys did.
Yeah.
So you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Like I said, we're cobbling things together for you.
Yeah.
And then we just come to you and be like, oh, we're good. But then I just worked my ass off.
No, yeah.
Keeping this together for you.
One of my last transactions, or I'm still under contract, but we were in attorney review, and I just got off of the plane going on my cousin's bachelorette trip, and the attorney on the other side calls me and he's like, my client's canceling this deal. Like, this is ridiculous, blah, blah, blah. I'm on vacation, like freaking out, texting, reaching out to the agent, blah, blah, blah. The listing agent and I get on the same page. He talks his client off the edge. They sign off on attorney review. I just told my client, we're good. Yeah, they had no idea. Fucking idea that they almost just lost this house. And because I was responsive and doing all this shit while I'm on vacation, that they are still going to buy this house. Like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll buy you a gift. Come on.
Like, vacations for us, just so everybody fucking knows, aren't real fucking vacations. Like, do you ever go? There's not a time I take a trip, a vacation or whatever, where I go completely dark.
Yep.
No, I cry every time
on my
vacation.
honeymoon. I spent 2 months texting every single client I had in my database saying, I will be gone for this 2 weeks. Let me know if you need anything. I have stopped taking new clients 2 months before I went on my honeymoon. I still had 3 people text me and I responded.
Honeymoon, post marriage, like that. Like we just be grateful.
And don't get us wrong. We have a great job and we do make a lot of money and it's fabulous.
Can I make just 1 point? I want to make 1 point.
Is it a quick point?
Like people?
Yeah, we have to. Joe has to leave soon.
People who work with us, and again, without me trying to sound like a complete douchebag, but people who work with agents like us, they have no idea how lucky they got.
They could have been with
somebody who doesn't know what the fuck they're doing, and you're fucked. You can make a really horrible financial decision.
Like the guy with the sewer.
Yeah.
If you hire Dolly Dinkles from Dolly Dinkles Real Estate Firm, you're gonna get a Dolly Dinkles experience.
And she'll buy you a gift.
With an email, I'm the best realtor at gmail.com, and yeah, this is the people have no idea how lucky they are working with us.
I agree.
Count your lucky stars, clients. Okay. Let's head to our last Reddit submission, so Joe can get out here and work his butt off for his clients.
Because my client was like, I can only see it at this time, and I was like, let me move my whole fucking day around and leave this microphone behind so I can show you a place.
Yeah.
Happy to do it though. I'll get you a closing gift. Ding.
Back in 2017, a friend of mine bought a house where the rooms were painted gray. I kind of liked it because it was something different. Now, the sheer volume of houses I see listed that have gray walls is insane. Green always used to be my least favorite color for rooms, but now I'd gladly take the worst shade of green over gray any day. The only way I'd buy a house that is painted gray is if I had the money to get it painted any other color right away, because I really don't want to live in a house that looks like a prison.
Painting is one of the least expensive things you can fucking do for a house.
That's so funny because the comments on this went insane.
Give us a couple
and
of them.
They were saying like, why are you freaking out? Painting is literally so easy.
And you can like literally paint yourself.
Well, can I say something real quick though? Did you see that TikTok about how it used to be millennial gray, but now it's millennial green because we graduated? So her specifically, get her.
Well, it used to be cream and yellows and the Tuscan core. Remember, like back in the 2000s. Now it's gray.
It used to be. Who gives a fuck?
Style,
right?
You know,
like if you fucking like green, painted green. If you like it gray, painted gray. If you want to.
So this is something that I was saying last week. Like when we were talking about staging, if your house, you can tell the personality of the person that lives there and you are an interesting person, your house is going to sell. If you're just like following a trend and your house is gray because every house is gray, it's going to look like every other house. Like, you know what I mean?
It's going to be memorable. Like I've
Right,
seen
yeah.
some powder rooms that I'm like, oh gosh, this wallpaper, but I'll never forget that wallpaper. And then when I'm talking to my clients about the 8 friggin' places that we just saw, I can be like, oh, remember that one with the powder room with the crazy wallpaper? What do you think about that one? Like it does help
Yeah.
if you like just stick to what you like and what your style is.
Well, and okay, I know Nick and Anastasia, you guys are like, you guys are very by the book. And like,
are we gonna have a
like,
fight?
No,
fight,
we're not gonna fight. I just am a very.
But you're calling them behind the.
Anastasia
book?
is so by the book.
What
I
do you
think
mean?
aren't you like
No.
goody
In
two
what
shoes
way?
by the
No,
book?
explain.
No,
Explain.
No. What I'm saying is I'm a very emotional seller. Like I play, like not play on people's emotions, but like I am good at my job, not because I like know every single fact about every single house, which I feel like Anastasia and Nick, you guys know
Yeah.
like the ins and outs of houses. That's what I mean by you guys are by the book. Like you're very knowledgeable
I would say
about
data driven.
data driven.
Yeah.
I'm not data driven.
Period. She's like, that's not what it is. It's called data.
Okay,
driven.
yes.
Actually.
You're data
Actually,
driven.
by the book.
Yeah. You guys are data driven, which is
What
amazing.
kind of driven are you?
Emotional driven, like full emotions, because and I think that a desire that people have is to like really express themselves. And so when my clients walk into a house where they can tell that the person who lived there expressed themselves, they're more drawn to it. Just
Oh,
like
for sure.
psychologically.
For sure.
So like I love showing houses, even if it's not my client's style, where they can tell that the person expressed themselves because like that fulfills a need inside of them that they don't know that they have, but I know that they have.
You should be a therapist for real estate agents.
No, literally, I miss my calling. I was a therapist. Okay, I think in my past life, I was a therapist in the 60s who maybe like did some art teaching on the time.
Why the
Who was like
60s?
prescribing like Xanax to
Artists?
yeah.
No. I didn't do medication. I was
Okay.
psychotherapy
I have
only.
no idea what
Okay.
just happened.
Nick, what were you in a past life?
Pivoted.
What were
Yeah,
you in
let's do a past life regression.
What?
You were
Well-
probably like, I feel like you were like a knight of the round table.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
I think he was King Arthur.
Something like that.
That was probably a big dick, but I mean, like that's like, okay. So let's like I'll
See,
Hold on,
whoa,
hold on,
whoa,
let's step back. Let's revert a little bit.
Wait
By the
that
book,
back.
he's so.
Are you saying that you were in a past life, had a big dick, and it's slowly gotten smaller as you?
No,
progressed
I
through your
said
life?
like I meant by I was just an asshole in my past life somehow. I don't
You're
know.
an
I don't
asshole
know
in the
how.
current life,
Well,
You think
yeah.
you
But
were
obviously not.
worse
He's
or
getting
better?
gifts from
but
clients.
he's by the book. Yeah, he's getting gifts. I
So
thought I was
clearly he's
nice.
not an asshole.
Okay, back to the original point of painting.
Painting.
I just don't think it matters that much. I don't see it though. I mean, it. Okay.
See, data-driven.
The only time that would matter will be if the house is huge. I'm talking about over 4,000 square feet house. Something that will cost you literally $25,000-$30,000 to paint that thing.
See, he's
Yeah.
data driven.
That's 30 grand out of your pocket
Well-
if you want to change the whole face inside of the house.
But we
you know?
talked about this last week, especially with painting. Are you painting to live in it, or are you painting it to sell? Because
you're
those
buying
are
a
two
$4,000
completely different things.
I will
True,
say one thing.
true.
I bought a home last year and it was painted millennial gray and I knew I didn't like it. But I
Anastasia
thought
owns multiple homes, by the way.
two. Multiple is two.
That's like a big deal.
That
I
is
just
a
wanna-
big deal.
Thank you.
that's-
Thank you.
And you're how old?
I'm 30.
I think that's a big
Thank you.
accomplishment.
Thank you.
Major.
I moved in. I was like, I can make it work. I can put some art. I can put some plants. I don't want to paint. I don't want to spend more money. I'll do it. And now that I've lived in it, it didn't help. I still hate the color of my walls, but at this point, because everything is there and all my plants and all my art and all my furniture is just so much more annoying to actually pull the stuff out and paint it over. So I do feel it, but I just think that I need to do the same thing as this person does. I just need to paint it.
Yeah, I just feel like anytime you follow a trend, it's always going to go out of style. But if you stick to your true self and your true personal style, it's always going to look good. Because, like, yeah, to Joe's point, I've walked into houses that have not been touched since the 80s, but they're like so representative of the person who lived there that it still looks cool.
True. I will say
Tchotchkes
one
everywhere.
exception though. When you have like 7 different walls and they're all like colored in different bright colors. You know, like when you
That's
like,
not
and this
good.
wall is like yellow, and this wall is like red, and that wall is like green, and we've all seen those properties, and
Yeah.
you're like, I'm all for personal style, but I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my god, like
Well, that person
What?
was on drugs.
Well, that's
and
why
we
you
don't
hire a
like-
listing agent
Yeah.
so we can come in and be like, if you want this to sell, listen, you're on the ground floor, right? And you have all dark paint and you don't get light as it is. If you want to sell this, we got to brighten it up with paint. There's just no other way around it. You're not going to get light. You want to sell it, we got to brighten it up. Paint is the way we do it.
So I would give advice to sellers in this situation. If you still live in the home and you're selling it, keep it the way it is. Keep your nice furniture, like show your character, like show how you live. So somebody will be like, okay, I actually dig this kind of style. Maybe the buyer will be somebody with a similar type of taste to you. If it's completely vacant home and you moved out of there, just paint everything white. It's the easiest way. It's the easiest thing to do. Just paint everything white. All the walls white. That's it.
I just went through this where every wall was painted either black or navy blue, and to get dark to light is very expensive because they had to do multiple coats of white paint. It depends because white's not always the cheapest.
And then not always the white. Like just see what's in trend. That's it. Like right now, I feel like the warmer colors are a little bit more in trend. Like the beige.
Get what's on sale. Go to Benjamin Moore.
Oh my gosh, guys, wait! This is a deal. Hold on. Hi, this is Katie. Hey, good. How are you? Okay, when does he want to close? End of August. I'll ask. I just know because we're closing on his place July 9th. So he's okay though to like put his stuff in storage, and he said he's happy to go to Wisconsin for a couple weeks or whatnot. So I'll figure it out. But what date ideally? Of August. Okay, cool. Yeah, no problem. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'll talk to him and get back to you. All right, thanks. Bye.
Is it happening?
Maybe.
Oh my gosh, explain it. I gotta go.
Okay. So the price was Bye, Joe. The
Bye.
price was listed at basically we're getting $10,000 off the listing price, but he wants to close a month after my client wants to close, which is kind of annoying because my client is
How long has it been on the market?
4 days. So we don't really have a lot of leverage.
Never mind. That's crashed that last question.
But so we're getting 10 grand off, but we have to kind of like be, but we have to kind of work with what the seller wants. So I got to go call my client. I got it done.
Are
you gonna get them a closing yet?
Probably because I've done like $3 million of transactions with them in like 1 month.
They deserve.
Yeah. So bye guys.
Bye.
Bye.